the suppression of the use of marijuana and of the forces lurking behind it are the most important jobs this department is now engaged in. In 1930, the records on marijuana in the Washington office of the Narcotics Division scarcely filled a small folder like this. Today, they fill cabinets.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Coloradians and everyone that's smart enough to listen from the outside.
It's one of the most amazing plants we've ever discovered.
The pot party, the trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another week of Stoned Appetit with your host, as always. It's me, Kip, and I'm coming to you. We're back in the Zoom stages. It feels like we're back in quarantine, but we're a little bit brief. And I'm sitting here with the DaVinci founder. For those that don't know, his name is Cort Smith. And Cort has created a company that designs not only high-end, but highly practical vape pens is what I'm going to call them. So everyone that thinks of the 510, what you'll see on our Instagram and on our other pages is you'll see a revolutionary new utensil, one that is an apparatus that's pretty much useful for any kind of cannabis smoking you want. But we're going to pick the brain of the owner today, and we're excited about it. Before we get to our guest in this episode, let me give a shout out to our sponsors, Live Nation Colorado. Without Live Nation Colorado, we wouldn't be where we are today. So we would be doing a disservice if we didn't go ahead and promote when in times there is no hospitality event. So for those that are looking for some fun times, go to livenation.com. They have virtual concerts that you can watch. We call it Couch Tour. You can do whatever you want. But also when you're on that page, check out the Save the Crew tab. The donation page that they're running, I guess currently, or for as long as we need to, is it's a campaign to help support the staff from the bands that don't get paid because there aren't any concerts. So I implore, just go check it out. For all those that enjoy the benefits of our free ticket giveaways and from all of the things that Live Nation does for us at Red Rocks and all the other concerts around town, go to livenation.com. That's livenation.com and click Save the Crew, and then pick whatever your favorite band is and watch that tour and stream it from their website. Bada bing, we're done. All right, now enough of the business side. Cort, thank you for joining us, brother. How are you today?
Good, Kip. Thanks for having me on. Excited to share with you.
Yeah, you say that now. Wait till about 30 minutes from now, and you're like, fuck, I'm still on this podcast, and he's asking some really provocative questions.
Bring them. All good stuff.
Well, Cort, we like to start every episode with the same question, and honestly, it won't apply because we are playing the Zoom game, but it's the transplant or a native question for our Colorado residents. Where are you dialing in from today, Cort?
I'm currently sitting in lovely Las Vegas.
Hey-o, how's life down in the desert?
I'm a desert rat, so for me, it's great here every day. I don't spend much time on the street. The casinos, they do their own thing, but there's a whole lot of nature around us, and we do just the best with that. Are
you a golfer, hiker? What's the outdoor activity of your choice?
Oh, the outdoor activity of the claim to fame in Las Vegas would be off-roading. I'm a dirt biker. So two wheels, four wheels, and dirt. There's a lot of that around us. We don't have to go far to find our nirvana.
Hey, that is probably perfect for you. I guess the mask scene is pretty normal for you then if you're someone that does a lot of ATVs and off-roading.
Yeah. It's never fun to eat dust. That's why you got to go faster.
You got to be at the front of the line.
Exactly.
Well, and speaking to Vegas, it seems like y'all been popping off. We like to think of ourselves as one of the capitals for the cannabis companies, but you seem to be in one of the forefronts in Vegas, and Nevada's been blowing up from the industry side as well.
Yeah, we have a unique perspective because there's so much tourism that comes in. We get to feel how people from other states are experiencing the legalization in their hometowns. What always shocks me, though, is the variation of understanding, meaning some guy will come in, I don't know, whatever, a bachelor party or is, some convention, and they've never heard the word vaporizer. You're like, wait, you're a cool guy. You've been partying your whole life and you've never smoked a vape, and then you meet another person who's going to go deep on what's the entourage effects of certain terpenes. And I guess it's access to information. It takes a while to permeate. and there's still a lot of people in the unknown out there.
Yeah, I feel, especially with what your product has been working in, and we'll dive into those details, but you definitely get the wide array, not only of the first-time smokers, because they are there for the bachelor party and they're coming from places like my hometown in Mississippi or, Louisiana, where having, readily available wax and disposable weed and all of those things are not an answer. So when they come to Vegas, which used to be the home of pool parties, the Spearmint Rhino, and casinos, y'all are now a beacon for the marijuana industry. Y'all are selling it. Like I remember when y'all went legal, y'all couldn't keep weed and drugs on the shelf over there.
It's been good because we get to introduce that to a number of people, and Vegas does a good job of packaging and sort of presenting these vices. So I think I've seen a lot of people take their first puff in Las Vegas. So if that's what we're getting known for, is helping break people's barriers down and introducing the next step of consciousness in life, then we'll take that rap.
Yeah, I have a feeling a lot of firsts happen in Vegas. I don't know if if y'all's commercial says that, but I know personally that there's a lot of those stories. But speaking of stories, I want to know a little bit more about you. So before Vegas, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get in the weed industry? How did you get into the weed adjacent industry? I think would be the
hardware side.
Hardware. Yeah. Thank you. I'm high myself, so the verbiage is off.
Yeah, no, easy. It's good story and quite logical. I grew up in the Bay Area, born in San Francisco, and I'm a few years older than you, I think. So at the time, there was a lot of interest in Japan and Asia, and where's the world going? And I'm an adventurer at heart. So in the late '80s, I moved to Asia, and with the intent of learning Chinese and kind of being prepared to help America and China figure out their next steps together. And ended up falling into a business in China of bungee jumping, which is crazy. I was way ahead of its time, like a couple decades ahead of its time. And in fact, my Chinese godfather says, "Cort, you're crazy. You're never going to sell a bungee jump to a Chinese guy. Like, that's just not how they think about life. If anything, you charge them a ticket to watch you jump off the bridge and just earn the ticket money." I was like, Godfather, that's not the purpose. The purpose is to help people face their fears and take on a once-in-a-lifetime experience that they remember forever. Listen, we spent the first 3 years charging people to watch us jump because nobody wanted to do it. And then little by little, it started to catch on with determination, and a good product. And I remember my mindset at the time was I really wanted to introduce a very disruptive action into China. I wanted to instigate sort of the idea of to challenge things and how to prepare the courage to challenge the status quo, because I knew China was going to go through a lot of changes. And Bungee Jump was a product we could sell that was fun, it's participatory, and people love you after it. It's one business that they finish the project experience, they hug you and they want to name their firstborn child after you, and they remember that day for the rest of their lives. And it was very impacting and very rewarding to be on that side where you delivered a product that people really appreciated, and they trusted their life with our service. And oddly, that business is still going today. It's now become the world's largest bungee company.
Get the fuck out of here. Are you serious?
Yeah, we have 75 bungee towers around China. We've now jumped more than 2 million people, knock, knock, with 100% safety. And how this dovetails in was by the end of the 90s, and I'm very entrenched in the bungee business in China, I had learned a PhD in how to manufacture things in Asia where human safety was involved. And it was a one by one business where we had to be 100% every time. And I parlayed the experience of building bungee towers and selling bungee jumps into manufacturing, because now I'm building towers with elevators and revolving restaurants and crazy mechanical engineering aspects to it on these big 250-foot towers in the sky. So it was a bit of a transition going from selling a very large steel tower to a very, very small, tiny metal object that gets hot and makes smoke. But the principle
that's a pivot if I've ever seen one. What made you want to, obviously business was booming, being the head of the biggest bungee company in the world, that's the most awkward flex I've ever seen, and I couldn't respect it more. That's fucking awesome because you created something out of nothing, which is very eerily similar to this podcast. But you saw like a small niche, of, thrill seekers, folks that wanted to push the limits on their lives and, extend that adventure bug, And so I want to know, what made you decide to go from slaying it in China through the 90s into pivoting into marijuana hardware?
I think it's purely selfish motivations. The Bungee side is, as an outdoor guy, if that's how you have a good time, it's very difficult to make outdoors and business, friends in the same path. If you're a rock climber, it's not fun to sell rock climbing lessons to people. You just want to go climb rocks.
That's true.
The thing is, I'm a scuba diver. I'm a motocross racer. All these things don't lend well to, you might take a friend out to teach them, but you really don't want to make it a business. The bungee jumping was the one thing that says it could be a business and be a good time. So I was perhaps just selfish and lazy and really enjoyed what we were doing. But
so you just gave me even more inspiration. I'm selfish, lazy, and enjoy what I'm doing right now.
That's right. And then thumbs up, because if you have passion for what you do, there's a much higher chance you'll be successful at it. If you're not passionate for what you're doing, I don't know if I'd even call that a job. That's enslavement.
And you're not wrong, but it seems like, did you create this passion? Were you like, how do I get the extreme sport life into a place that has never seen it or something like that? Did you see that same niche needed, or that same gap missing in the weed industry as well? Like, yeah, everybody has these 510s and the disposables. We need a legit piece of equipment that's reliable and also strokes. Like, how does that work? How's that pivot work?
Well, I'd have to back you up in the history books a little bit, because you throw on words like 510s and pens, and this all started before those terms even were around. And the lineage of building the Bungee to the vaporizer was, if you're going to build something, you build it bomb-proof. You make it a safety factor 10. It's, this is something that people trust their lives into to ingest their medicines. Damn it, you better build something good. And it was only because I now had language and a lot of years of manufacturing experience that I could had my own kitchen over there. I could build whatever I could imagine, and had staff and facilities to do so. But before there were pens and 510s, like you mentioned, what put us on the map was, as a cannabis, connoisseur, and I really enjoyed it, there was a need for something besides a pipe or a bong, right? We wanted something more than pipes and bongs. And vaporizers, I bought my first vape, it was $35. It was a big glass globe and some copper plate that got hot, and it smelled like plastic and tasted like dog crack. So it was not a good experience. And I thought, you know what? I have enough knowledge that I think I can build something that's small, fits in your pocket, will get hot, and be a great vaporizer. And there wasn't anything like that in the market at the time. When DaVinci first hit the markets, we were the first pocket portable vaporizer, something you could truly throw in your pocket and go. It's called the DV Classic. It looked like a little walkie-talkie. People would make fun of it. Oh, neat little walkie-talkie, man. So what you've got now is about generation 5. We've really fine-tuned a lot of the process along the way. But what put us on the map was being innovative. We were the first company to get it small enough to go in your pocket. We were the first company to put glass internals so that the purity of the flavor was captured, with all glass. The first company to put dosage control in a machine. First company to put air control on it. We just did a lot of firsts because we were just imaginative, and probably designing while high is where all that stuff comes from. But
that was going to be my next question. So are you sitting in China, and you're like, or was this here? And you're like, I have the resources in China, just like kind of blitzkrieg. And you're like, who could use this? The States. I'm going back? Or like, how was that shift? Like, were you like, all right, my job is done here in China? Because from your bio, you've been there forever and now you're all over. What made you decide, I'm going to settle down in Vegas and do this the right way?
Well, the Vegas part's easy because, again, I'm a dirt biker, and we're surrounded with dirt. So
for outdoor adventure.
That's just where we call home base. We've got research. The R&D teams are both here and in China. We're working 24/7, which is maybe part of our secret to getting the innovations. Is we finish the workday here in the States, and by 6 p.m. China's online.